Just a quick message on Instagram as I've just started the live again. Key Stage 2 story time will be at 11 o'clock, and this is Key Stage 1, the little one story time, so 0 to 7 story time. Okay, so I'm going to start now, and we were just saying that today is Mindful Monday, so we're thinking of what we're going to do to make our week fantastic, okay, how we're going to be mindful. So let's go for our first story. So our first story today is called Katie and the Dinosaurs. Let's move this a bit closer. Katie and the Dinosaurs. Do you remember we read a Katie book before? Come and look, Grandma. Come and see the dinosaurs, said Katie. Katie loved the Natural History Museum, and she wanted to show her grandma everything. They're just a load of old bones, said Grandma. Well, you're really old, said Katie. There must have been dinosaurs alive when you were little. She's not that old. I'm not that old, snorted Grandma, looking for somewhere to sit down. They found a seat next to a skeleton of a very fierce-looking dinosaur. Why don't you go and look at your horrible dinosaurs while I have 40 winks, said Grandma. They're not horrible, sniffed Katie, but I do wish they weren't just skeletons, and she skipped off on her own, taking her picnic with her, just in case she got hungry. We know that she gets hungry, isn't it? Katie saw spiky dinosaurs, fishy dinosaurs, flying dinosaurs, horned dinosaurs, long dinosaurs. She closed her eyes and she tried to imagine they were alive. She thought they must have been very frightening with their sharp teeth and claws. Good morning, Lisa. This is Key Stage 2 story time is at 11. This is Key Stage 1 story time. Next to one of the dinosaurs was a corridor. Katie set off down it to make sure she hadn't missed anything worth seeing. The corridor was long and dark, and there was no one in sight. Katie began to feel scared. She looked for a way outside, but there didn't seem to be one. She was lost. Now, what do I do? Said Katie crossly. She came to a big door with a notice on it that said, absolutely no admittance whatsoever. I'll just take a quick look, said Katie, and she opened the door and stepped through. The door led outside, and there in front of her was a dinosaur. It was no bigger than Katie, but it was a real live one. Hello, said Katie. Who are you? Hadrosaurus, said the dinosaur. Who are you? I'm Katie, said Katie, and I think I'm lost. I'm lost too, said Hadrosaurus. I was chased by a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Isn't that the really fierce dinosaur? Asked Katie. That's right, said Hadrosaurus. Now I don't know how to get home. Happy birthday, Max. Max, Key Stage 2 story time is at 11 o'clock. That's right, said Hadrosaurus. Now I don't know how to get home. Don't worry, said Katie. I'll be able to see where we are from the top of this hill. And she clambered up a steep slope. This isn't a hill, said Hadrosaurus, scrambling up behind her. Oh, it's not a hill. What is it? Katie gasped. Oh, it's a brontosaurus. She was very high up and she could see for miles. Now show me where you live, said Katie. I think it's somewhere over there along the riverbank, said Hadrosaurus. Katie looked across the river. What are those funny-looking birds? She asked. They're pterosaurs, said Hadrosaurus. Watch out. But one of the pterosaurs had already spotted Katie's yellow scarf. It swooped towards her, and before Katie could duck, it had snatched the scarf from her. Hey, that's mine! Bring that back, yelled Katie. But the pterosaur was far away already. But now the brontosaurus started to move. She was getting fed up with these two noisy creatures jumping on her back. How they made her itch. Katie hung on for dear life, slipping and sliding about on the brontosaurus's back as she lumbered down to the river for a nice cool bathe. She was so huge that Katie and the Hadrosaurus hardly got wet at all. From high up on the brontosaurus's back, Katie could look right out to the sea. All sorts of strange creatures were swimming there. She recognized them from the museum. The ichthyosaurus with their long snouts and the plesiosaurs with their snake-like necks. Before long, the brontosaurus reached the edge of the water. "Let's go," said Katy. Followed by the Hadrosaurus, she slid all the way down to the tip of the brontosaurus's tail, and they landed in a giggling heap on the ground. The brontosaurus chuckled a deep, thundery laugh. "Which way now?" said Katy. "Into the jungle," said the Hadrosaurus. They're going into the jungle. The jungle was hot and sticky. Through the trees, Katy could see a herd of enormous dinosaurs. "What on earth are those?" asked Katy. "I don't like the look of them." "Are you sure?" said Katy. "Only Stegosaurus," said the Hadrosaurus. "They won't hurt us." "Are you sure?" said Katy suspiciously, as one stegosaur licked its lips. "Oh, yes, they only eat plants," said Hadrosaurus. So Katy gave them some grass. Then they went on through the jungle, and soon the trees began to thin out. Who can remember what we call dinosaurs that only eat plants? Yes, well done. Herbivores. Suddenly, Hadrosaurus let out a squeal. "Mama, Papa," he shouted. It was the Hadrosaurus's family. His mama and Papa hugged him and hugged Katy too for bringing him home. "I hope you're not going to eat me," worried Katy. "Don't be afraid, Katy," said Hadrosaurus. "We only eat plants too." That reminded Katy that she hadn't had her picnic lunch yet. She was feeling quite hungry by now, but she politely shared her cucumber sandwiches and chocolate biscuits. She saved her meat pie for later. Plant-eating dinosaurs from far and wide picked up the smell of Katy's sandwiches and padded across the rocks towards her. There was a Styracosaurus and a Triceratops with their horns, and an iguanodon with his spiky thumbs, and some Ankylosaurus. The dinosaurs shook some strange-looking fruits out of the trees, and they all ate until they were full. It was the best picnic Katy had ever had. Suddenly, another dinosaur crashed out of the jungle. It was Tyrannosaurus Rex! Oh no! He had been following Katy and the Hadrosaurus all along. He grunted and growled and ground his teeth and swished his tail and stamped his scaly feet. He was hungry and he didn't want cucumber sandwiches or chocolate biscuits. He wanted meat. He wanted Katy. "Quick, run for your life," said the Hadrosaurus, and Katy took to her heels. All the dinosaurs ran away in alarm. Tyrannosaurus Rex thundered after Katy and the dinosaurs as they ran through the jungle towards the river. Katy got out of breath, but she kept on running. At last, she could see the museum ahead of her. If only she had stayed safely inside. Then she remembered the meat pie. She tore open her lunchbox and threw a piece at the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Do you think he's going to eat it? Let's see. The Tyrannosaurus stopped in his tracks. He sniffed the meat pie. He ate it up. He liked it so much that Katy threw him the rest, even though she'd been saving it for herself. And the Tyrannosaurus Rex padded off into the jungle again, contentedly clutching Katy's lunchbox. "Phew, that was close," said Katy. It was getting late now, so Katy turned to say goodbye to the Hadrosaurus. "I do wish you could come home with me," she said, "but Grandma would only scream and make a fuss." "I'm happy here with my family anyway," said Hadrosaurus. He gave Katy a lick. "Thank you for helping me find them." "Bleh," spluttered Katy, as dinosaurs have very sloppy tongues. Then she went back through the doors into the museum. This time, Katy easily found her way through the museum. Grandma was waiting where she had left her. "Well, where on earth have you been?" asked Grandma. "I've seen all kinds of dinosaurs," said Katy. "Why don't you come and have a look too?" "All right," said Grandma. "Where do we start?" "This way," said Katy, and taking her hand, off they went. And there's some of the dinosaurs that we saw. And that was the end. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That was Katy and the dinosaurs. let's go for our next one. So for our next one, I'm going to read you a story from Roald Dahl's Revolting Rhymes. And they're all fairy tales, but they're told in Roald Dahl's words. And they're very different, maybe, to some of the ones that you've heard already. So let's read Cinderella. Cinderella. I guess you think you know this story. You don't. The real one's much more gory. The phony one, the one you know, was cooked up years and years ago and made to sound all soft and sappy just to keep the children happy. Mind you, they got the first bit right. The bit where, in the dead of night, the ugly sisters, jewels and all, departed for the palace ball. While darling little Cinderella was locked up in a slimy cellar, where rats who wanted things to eat began to nibble at her feet. Good morning, Leo and Jamie. Yay, you're watching. She bellowed help and let me out. The magic fairy heard her shout, appearing in a blaze of light. She said, my dear, are you all right? All right, cried Cindy. Can't you see? I feel as rotten as can be. She beat her fist against the wall and shouted, get me to the ball. There is a disco at the palace. The rest have gone and I am jealous. I want a dress, I want a coach, and earrings and a diamond brooch, and silver slippers, 2 of those, and lovely nylon pantyhose, done up like I'll guarantee the handsome prince will fall for me. The fairy said, hang on a tick. She gave her wand a mighty flick, and quickly, in no time at all, Cindy was at the palace ball. It made the ugly sisters wince to see her dancing with the prince. She held him very tight and pressed herself against his manly chest. The prince himself was turned to pulp. All he could do was gasp and gulp. Then midnight struck. She shouted, heck, I've got to run to save my neck. The prince cried, no, alas, alack. He grabbed her dress to hold her back. As Cindy shouted, let me go. The dress was ripped from head to toe. She ran out in her underwear and lost one slipper on the stair. Good morning, Alexandra and Eric. The prince was on it like a dart. He pressed it to his pounding heart. This girl, the slipper fits, he cried. Tomorrow morn shall be my bride. I'll visit every house in town until I've tracked the maiden down. Then rather carelessly, I fear, he placed it on a crate of beer. At once one of the ugly sisters, the one whose face was blotched with blisters, sneaked up and grabbed the dainty shoe and quickly flushed it down the loo. Oh no! Then in its place she calmly put the slipper from her own left foot. Aha, you see, the plot grew thicker, and Cindy's luck started looking sticker. Next day the prince went charging down to knock on all the doors in town. In every house the tension grew. Who was the owner of the shoe? The shoe was long and very wide. A normal foot got loose inside. Also, it smelled a wee bit icky. The owner's feet were hot and sticky. Thousands of eager people came to try it on, but all in vain. Now came the ugly sisters go. One tried it on. The prince screamed, no! But she screamed, yes, it's fine, whoopee! So now you've got to marry me. The prince went white from ear to ear. He muttered, let me out of here. Oh, no, you don't. You made a vow. There's no way you can back out now. Off with her head, the prince roared back. They chopped it off with one big whack. This pleased the prince. He smiled and said, she's prettier without her head. Then up came sister number 2, who yelled, now I will try the shoe. Try this instead, the prince yelled back. He swung his trusty sword and smack! Her head went crashing to the ground. It bounced a bit and rolled around in the kitchen, peeling spuds. Cinderella heard the thuds of bouncing heads upon the floor and poked her head around the door. What's all the racket? Cindy cried. Mind your own biz, the prince replied. Poor Cindy's heart was torn to shreds. My prince, she thought, he's chopped off their heads. This is a very different story. How could I marry anyone who does this sort of things for fun? The prince cried, who's this dirty? Oh my gosh. Off with her head, off with her nut. Just then, all in a blaze of light, the magic fairy hove in sight. Her magic wand went swoosh and swish. Cindy, she cried, come make a wish. Wish anything and have no doubt that I will make it come about. Cindy answered, oh kind fairy, This time I shall be more wary. No more princes, no more money. I've had my taste of honey. I'm wishing for a decent man. They're hard to find. Do you think you can? Within a minute, Cinderella was married to a lovely fella. Oh, I like this. A simple jam maker by trade who sold good homemade marmalade. Their house was filled with smiles and laughter, and they were happily ever after. That's a very different version, but I loved it. I prefer that Cinderella ended up with a lovely person with a good heart. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And that was Cinderella from the book Revolting Rhymes. Let's go for our last book before we do a little bit of, actually, let's go for some mindfulness. Okay, so today is Mindful Monday, okay? And we're thinking about how we're feeling and what we do about those feelings, okay? So let's have a little look in our book today. Let's see, how are you feeling today? Who can answer that question for me? How are you feeling today? What are you feeling today? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling excited? Are you feeling a little bit tired? Let's have a little look. So last time we looked at a couple of feelings. Let's have a look today at excited. What to do if you're feeling excited. Let's have a little look. So I think we've done excited before, haven't we? Should we have a little look at a different one? Let's have a look at if you're feeling happy. We haven't had a look at that one. So if you're feeling happy, here are some things that you can do. So see if you can make yourself laugh. Start by pretending and see if it becomes real. You might get some funny looks. And actually we do that at school. We do some laughing therapy. So we pretend to laugh and eventually we actually really laugh. Make a list or draw pictures of food, people, places, and other things that make you happy, like eating chocolate cake or flying a kite. That's a good idea. Make someone else happy by telling them how special they are. Oh, I love that one. Hum, whistle, or sing at the top of your voice. Decide what happiness looks like, sounds, tastes, smells, and feels like. Imagine yourself or eating or cuddling happiness. Oh, that's an interesting one. Make a happy collection, a box of things that make you happy. Include photos and nice things people have said to you. You can skip around and make everyone wonder why you are so happy. Make a smile collage, cut out smiles from magazines and stick them on a large piece of paper. Draw some too. Oh, I like that one. Maybe you can try and do that today. Feeling happy is a nice feeling. It makes you smile and feel like the world is a wonderful place. So maybe your task for today, if you'd like a task, is that you can see if you can find in some newspapers or in some magazines some smiley faces and see if you can cut them out and make a big collage of happy smiley faces. Okay, that's your task for today. So today we read Katie and the Dinosaurs. That was a fantastic book. And see if you can remember all the dinosaurs that Katie saw. And we read Revolting Rhymes. And it was the different story about Cinderella. Okay, now we're going to have a little go at some phonics. So Pigeon is still sleeping. He's not here. I think he forgot to come down. So I think I'm going to have to give you some words today because he's having a snooze. So your first word is, are you ready? Show me your phonics sitting. Show me your phonics listening. Your phonics looking. Right, your first word is, now I'm going to have to think about it. On my birthday, I got a card. Card. I got a card. Well done. Superstars. Fantastic. Let's try another one. Please turn on the light. Light. What's the word? Light. Fantastic. And actually, I think that might be our sound for today. So let's see if you can remember that later. Pass me the pen. The pen. Well done. You are fantastic. Right, let's go through our phonics sounds. And do you know what? I'm going to give them a shuffle because I noticed that they're in the same order, and that's not really challenging ourselves if they're in the same order, okay? Even if you're not too sure, have a go, okay? And even if you're really little and you're in nursery, it's still good for you to see some letters, because maybe later you can have a go at drawing some of these letters and mark making. I'd love to see you doing some drawings or even trying to do some letters. That would be amazing. Oh, good morning, Diane. Nice to see you watching. Right, are we ready? Off we go. Qua, like queen. Ah, sh, ch, j, x, f, w, z, a, k, k, s, well done. Yeah. K, o, n, d, v, t, l, f, e, l, p, e, a, j, g, and well done. Are you ready for our new sound for today? Our new sound for today is my turn, your turn. And actually, this is a triograph I'm going to show you in a minute. Ready? My turn, your turn. I, night, fight, sight, and light. Right, are you ready to see the sound? I. So these three letters, remember, when we have two letters, one sound, it's a digraph. But when we have three letters and one sound, it's a triograph. Can you say triograph? Yeah, so this is a trigraph, and our trigraph for today is I. So should we have a go at writing it down? Get your boards or your pencils, or you can just get your magic finger and you can do it in the air with me. And let's have a go at writing our sound for today. Are you ready? Let me get my board ready. I'm going to stick that up there. And we're going to do I. So let's practice those three letters, okay? So down the insect and a dot for his head, round the girl's face, down her hair and give her a curl, down from the head to the hooves and up over the horse's back. And those are the three letters for I. Okay, let's do 3 words before you go. Before you go, I want you to write 3 words for me, okay? Your first word is night. I go to bed at night. Have a go at writing night for me, please. Night. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's write it all together. Ready? I. Night. Well done. And any parents who are watching, this is a really tricky one to remember, so we're going to be really patient when seeing this, when reading this, and when writing it. It's a really tricky one to remember because it's 3 letters, 1 sound. Right, next word is light. Can you write light for me, please? Light. Turn off the light. I can imagine that lots of you are having a go. Light. Or at least just try and write for me. Right, ready? All together. I. Light. Well done. Fantastic. Light. And last one. Oh, I'm going to give you a digraph and a trigraph. I would like you to write thigh. So thigh is the top part of your leg. Thigh. Have a go at writing thigh for me. I, thigh. Are you ready? Let's write it so that we can go and do some more learning. Ready? I, thigh. Well done. Fantastic. And maybe later, unless your teachers have set you something different, you can have a go at writing some I words or reading some I words. Or if you really want to seek a challenge, you can have a go at writing a caption. Okay? Right, so, and if you are little and you are in nursery, maybe you can have a go at drawing a picture of nighttime and having a go at doing some mark making and writing your own story, okay? Right, so I'm going to say thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed story time. So we're back on at 10 o'clock every morning for story time, and tomorrow I'll have some more stories for you. We still haven't even got through all my books, so we don't even have to repeat any books yet. So that's fantastic. Thank you for watching. As always, I hope you have a super mindful Monday. Try and see if you can do 5 minutes of mindfulness today. See if you can think of 3 things you're grateful for, 3 things that will make today great, and 3 affirmations. Remember, affirmations is saying you are something. So I am amazing. I am fantastic. I am a good friend. I am kind. Okay, remember to say those things. Thank you for watching. As always, stay home, stay safe, stay positive. Sending lots and lots of love, and I hope you have a super rest of the day, and I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And I'll see my Key Stage 2 children at 11 o'clock. See you later, superstars. Bye, everybody.